I can learn something from everyone, and I hope you take that tact. Just because they're not up to your standards, if I judged an 8-year-old kid by my framework, are they going to succeed or fail? I need to judge them by their framework and help them improve their framework. Well, I already hit record. I'm probably going to kick this stuff out to my peeps. So you might show up online. So what you say can and will be held against you. So that should be good.
I can't wait.
Great.
Hopefully you guys have got some badass questions ready for me and not some bullshit, right? Hadn't seen you cats for a little while. So let's start off by, I assume everyone is on the dean and president's list. Yes?
I mean, I'm on the dean's list, but
I'm not on any list.
You're on some lists.
I'm on a list.
Let's confine you to things. Why do I want to be confined on a list?
Well, I mean, let's just start right there. If you're half-assing your education, then that's on you, right?
Oh, 100%.
Right. So, I mean, it's time to actually learn what you're doing and get smart about it and make good grades and actually be a high performer. Because right now you're in a test bed. You're in a protected area. You're in a spot where even if you mess up, you haven't messed up. So now is the time to begin to groove in the habits that become what you do every day for the rest of your life, right? How you do anything is how you do everything. So let's just start right there. Get on the damn dean's list, get on the president's list, get your grades up, get serious about school, get serious about your craft, and learn exactly what you're doing and how to do it really, really, really well.
Were you on the dean's list?
Me?
All 4 or 5 years, however long?
I had a 4.0 all through grad school. How about that? I have a master's degree in engineering with a 4.0 in every class. I was a night asleep from the president's list my first senior semester. I fucked up a electrical engineering test that I just crashed out. I had nothing left. I'd been up for like 4 straight days because all my finals and shit were all at exactly the same time because I didn't plan ahead.
Besides that one failure, did you fail any other test or class or thing?
Oh, my freshman year was trash. So me and like 12 dudes from my high school all went to Mississippi State, and we basically had our own frat. And 2 of us lived off campus because our dads were home builders, and we had saved our money while we were in school. So we decided we would we decided we would have off-campus apartments. And the cool part was we were the only 2 left after the first semester. Everybody else had failed out and gone home. And we were both on probation. So we spent the whole next semester trying to save our scholarships. So
Sounds like a hell of a semester.
It was we had a really good time.
Well, your 4.0 in grad school is why you won the engineering company, I suppose.
Extremely the opposite, probably. My 4.0 in grad school, my intention was to be an amazing engineer at a much bigger company and make tons and tons of money there and create whole product lines and things like that. My business came about just, I think, more per chance than anything else. I had some old customers that wouldn't take no for an answer when I told them I didn't do this stuff anymore. So that's actually how my engineering company got started. But let's go. What do you guys got for questions? Y'all hook me up.
There you go.
Well, I wasn't prepared. Silas told me about this today.
Never admit that.
Up pretty late.
Yeah, that's not the way to start a interview, presentation, meeting.
Hey, I'm lazy, and you don't matter to me, and I don't appreciate your time. That's really
I never said that.
I guess
that's exactly what you said. I mean, let's back.
Well, you got a late notice.
I didn't know this was happening until about 2 hours ago.
I did hit him late, but
I have a question though. Yeah, you got a 4.0 all throughout wherever your academic, but do you regret doing that? Do you wish that you would have taken maybe more time for personal growth or any other relaxation?
Why would I do that while I'm in college?
Because that's the time every minute.
So let's back up.
So you're going to tell me you worked hard in high school?
No.
Okay.
And now this is 4 to 5 years of your life to set you up for the rest of your life. And you're paying an absolute massive amount of money for it, even if you're not the one physically paying for it. Like in the state of Georgia, if you make good grades, most of your tuition is covered and you just pay for everything else. But still, like $100,000 a year is basically going to your education, Why would you waste time playing volleyball with your buddies? Like, you can do that on break. You can do that at Christmas. You can do that at spring break, right? While you have the opportunity to be around professors and labs, why would you not be in there 24 hours a day?
Wouldn't you want someone that's more well-rounded, who did all that stuff and got their shit done? They may not have the best grades, but they got their shit done and they got.
Well, obviously they didn't because they don't have the result.
But they're still more well-rounded.
What's that got to do with anything? If I'm hiring an engineer, do I need you to be able to play volleyball with your buddies? Or do I need you to know engineering really well?
I want you to be able to communicate in the office.
Okay.
I don't want you to be the guy that knows all the numbers but can't express the numbers.
So you're telling me that if you were Elon and you were trying to put a dude on Mars, you want someone that's good at beach volleyball and worked out and hung out and really only kind of applied himself to his engineering and sort of knows it okay, or do you want the expert of the expert of the expert, the dude who made a 4.2 at MIT, and that's all he does 24 hours a day, right? This is what, hang on, so let's use your logic for a minute, Max. Per your logic, when I go to the gym for 90 minutes to work out, I should read a book and watch some TV while I'm there so I'm well-rounded.
I mean, I do that in between during my rest.
I should eat some candy.
I should hang out and bullshit with my buddies.
Well, time out. I think you got to
because that'll make me well-rounded. And
don't you get what I'm saying? That 90 minutes is what these 4 or 5 years are in college. You need to focus. You need to put everything you got.
You can't exert yourself all 90 minutes. It's not physically possible. You're not going to be able to continuously rep. You have to have downtime for your body to rest in between workouts. And during those in between downtime, you can chat up or scroll through your phone or text somebody. Is that not?
Yeah, but someone like you who's a proponent of this is making an excuse for not producing.
I wouldn't say it's an excuse.
You're trying to give yourself permission to be lazier than you need to be. You're not holding yourself to a high standard. You're giving yourself an out.
Perhaps.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Now, if you were at the gym for a whole week, I agree with you. But when you come to work out, work out. When you come to work, you work. When you sit down to study, you study. Focus. You need to work in blocks. Now, I agree with you. You need a lot of different blocks. Like I look at my calendar for the week. I've got engineering. I've got business. I've got calls like this with kids like yourselves. I coach basketball. I'm a volunteer. I play poker with old people. I hang out with my wife. I go for a walk with my dog. I'm having a lunch with, a guy that used to work for me, and we might start a new business together. I'm going on campus to talk to students. Like, you should be well-rounded, but when you're there should be no excuse. And what I'm saying is those 4 or 5 years is a block in your life. You should focus.
You kind of, isn't that college? Like your whole life in college is not just academics, it's split up with many things that you just described. Can you not treat school like 9 to 5?
I disagree because of this premise, okay?
Once you get into your engineering classes, so let's say start of your junior year, you really only have 2 to 2.5 years to become an expert at something that's really hard. So any minute that you're not talking to a professor, working on an engineering problem, in the lab learning how to do stuff, you're wasting time that you'll never get back with that opportunity. That volleyball court will be there 5 years from now, but that professor and that class won't be. And it's the same thing when you take an internship or a co-op job. You should work 90 hours a week. Oh, but I'm not getting paid. Oh, yeah, you are, because you're learning how to do stuff. When I was an intern, we stayed late at night and worked on the manufacturing lines and learned how to program PLCs and learned how to work in the maintenance shop and how to rewire controllers and all those kind of things. And we didn't get paid a dime for it, but it absolutely got us better jobs. We understand what's going on more. We can design things better, right? We focus that time.
Yeah, I understand.
It lets you stay after hours?
It's not let you. Why do I forgiveness
Because
instead of
it's
permission?
a business, they're going to kick you out if the boss is leaving.
Well, let me explain this to you.
I've been at, as soon as the boss leaves, everyone's like, shoot out.
If you're the plant manager and you know that Zane, the intern's shift is over and he's still out there working on the line, and you check the next day and it's getting 3% more parts out, and you see him over there like taking boxes out to the dumpster and no one asked him to do that, and you see him helping one of the workers on the stamping line restack product, and no one asked him to do that. Are you going to complain for him working late? Absolutely not. And what's cool is we had actually talked the plant manager into letting us work more hours and actually paying us. He just couldn't pay us overtime. He found a way to slip us in and get it into his budgets. He just couldn't pay OT for the hours, and we were cool with that. We really didn't care if we got paid. Well, then we upped it and we said, well, how about if we put an RV in the parking lot so that we can work more hours? And we kind of caught him at a time where he was real busy, and he went ahead and he said yes. Well, then we find out later that he saw a work order going through where one of the main maintenance guys that we knew was running water and power out to our RV, and he shut that shit down. It's like, all right, that's enough. No more. Go home. Like, get out of here, right? So you can take it too far. But what I'm getting at, and the point of all this, is whatever moment you're in, be present and be focused. Show up, do the work, be a badass. Don't allow any excuses in, right? There's a time to work and there's a time to play. And when you're playing, play hard. And when you're working, work hard. That's what I'm getting at. All right, now that we've jammed you guys on grades, what questions you got?
I just want to shift the question too much. That's pretty applicable, though. We're so me, Max, and Joe is graduating in December. Max and I are graduating in May. So it's more of we did our college thing, and that's in the past now. So I guess we're looking more career advice, questions there, kind of future. Caleb here, actually, he's in psychology. He actually goes to Georgia State. He's not at Benedictine, but he's looking to start his own business in the future.
Us, right?
100%.
Right now, that is not true, but
no, it's true. He's on the dean's list. He's got his grades up, but he wants to start a business in the future and stuff. So I invited him along.
Sure.
So yeah, I'd like to talk more about the future, kind of after college, kind of what that looks like. So if you guys got questions, go ahead and throw them out.
I'll take it for you, Saz. So where do you draw the cutoff between like making a shit ton of money and doing something that you enjoy? Because obviously if you can do something you enjoy, but if you're not going to be able to live a sustainable lifestyle, is that worth it?
Good question.
Joe, what's more important is what's your why and what's your final outcome? Like, where are you trying to get and what are you trying to do? And I don't need an answer, because I'm just to answer your question is this. So for me, I knew that one day I wanted to go back and teach. And I had a professor that was so bad that I felt like I needed to come back and teach to make up for how terrible he was.
I've had a couple of those.
So, Dr. Agba, I greatly appreciate you because you motivated me greatly, and I've taught in university because of you, right? Because you were terrible. I knew what my outcome was, so then I built backwards from that as to what I needed to do in my career. And that way, no matter what I was doing and wherever I was in my career, whether I enjoyed it or not, I was achieving my end goal. So to me, it was fulfilling. And it's back to the be present in the moment. You might be in a moment that you don't like and you don't feel like it's doing what you want for your end result. But if you have that end result in mind, you can make it help you get there. So even if you're in a terrible job, well, okay, finish the job, do it really well, and then go find somebody that's really good at what you eventually want to do and hang out with them. So I think you need to remove the whether I enjoy it or not, and you need to find joy in achieving your why and your outcome.
So just to clarify, and because I do kind of agree with what you're saying here, it's less about, oh, I really love this job, I'm having so much fun. It's more, what is this contributing to my overall life? Is this meeting the requirements I need for the future? And
there's a secondary of that is, what are you contributing to this life? Because if you look through the 6 basic human needs, what are the last 2? They're growth and contribution. And most people spend their whole life and never get there. They're working on certainty and uncertainty and significance and love and connection, and they never get any of those 4 in place. And you really need 3 to survive as a human, and you must have 2 or you're really going to try to change your situation. So the key is, how do I get fulfilled and get to the point where I can grow and contribute? Because that's how you become self-actualized as a human, right? That's where we start to give back and we make the world a better place than where we started. So I encourage each of you, these things that you're talking about, like Max is like, hey, I need permission to be well-rounded and hang out and not work hard. And Joe's like, well, how do I pick between making money and doing what I really want to do? I think you're being too surface. I think you're missing the 30,000-foot view, right? I think there's more to life than those things. And see, here's the problem. You guys are flooded with advice from who? Poor people, boomers that didn't achieve what they tried to achieve, your parents that are now living through you and giving you crappy advice that they never took and hasn't gotten them anywhere. And so you're hearing all these things, and then all you see of what an actual good life is a cool post on TikTok or IG and a bunch of likes that go with it, right? So everybody's doing exactly what they enjoy and all that kind of stuff. I think that life is super superficial and not what is really going on out here in the real world. I mean, I want you to think about, are there one or two people in your life that are really killing it and really making a difference in the world? And are they really happy doing what they're doing? Just think about that. Pick somebody out, right? Like the people that you really aspire to be, aren't they making a difference? Aren't they doing something more impactful than that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know my uncle, he's super wealthy and he does very well for himself, but he's been like, he's had a lot of like bad relationships with like, basically he's been through at least like, I think like 2 or almost 3 divorces or something.
Sure.
So he's had quite a lot of like personal relationships.
Yeah.
Like,
let's bring it full circle though, because this comes back, because Max, your original thought and question is really good. You do want to be well balanced, but I'll say that you want to be well balanced when you get to that point.
how do you know what that point is though?
You've got to think about where you're at. So if I pay Silas $20K to make me a black belt in jiu-jitsu and I go to jiu-jitsu practice, I don't want to be doing other shit. Like I need to be focused in that moment. But if I back up, I want to be well-rounded in my life. I want to have other things going on. I don't want that to consume me unless it needs to consume me. And this is where, you know, maybe this isn't coming across super clear to you guys. In the moment, you may have to focus. In the moment, you might have to give up your life, your wife, your kids, your dog, the things you want to do to make the $100 billion so then you can do what you need to do, right? So for me, in the early days of building my business, I knew at some point it would allow me to spend more time with my kids and my family and my wife and do the things that I wanted to do and help people, right? But in the beginning, I literally was working 20 hours a day to get there. But I didn't mind because I knew it was getting me to my outcome and my goal, right? So in these moments, I'll call them seasons. In the season, if it's football season, you're playing football. If it's basketball season, you're playing basketball. When right now it's learn your craft season. So you need to be really focused in school, right? For Joe, it needs to be find a job that doesn't suck ass and helps me get to my goals season, right? Like he literally should be paying less attention in class and going on more interviews because that's more important to his next goal, right? His next goal is to get a decent gig that's fulfilling him a little bit, that gives him opportunity in the future, that puts some money in the bank account so he can invest and get away from this slave wages life, right? And begin to do things that he wants to do. So right now, his season should be interviewing, making connections, calling people, showing up, like literally not even going to class. Unless that's something he absolutely has to have to graduate, right?
Yeah, I kind of need to go to class. I don't want to go back.
Completely understood, right?
I mean, don't mess it up where you got to go back next semester and finish a class you should have finished, right? But on the flip side, like, and I think people miss that. Like, my son's a junior now, starting at Mississippi State in mechanical engineering. And I'm like, well, how many interviews did you go on? Oh, well, I don't think I need to be worrying about that yet. I'm like, yeah, you do. Because you really want to get those co-op and intern jobs like your second semester, your junior year. So you really need to be interviewing now. You need to be practicing. You need to be getting better so that when those interviews that count come up, you're ready for them, right? So same thing for Joe. Like the time to interview was a year ago. The time to set up a job was 2 years ago. He should have already interned somewhere that already had offered him 2 jobs. Because now if he has 2 job offers, he doesn't have to sweat and he can start to look for the job he really wants, right? What you don't want to do is end up in some place because you have to, or for desperation, or for survival, right? If Joe doesn't have money to support him after he graduates, he'll have to take a job, even if it sucks. Then he's got to figure out what he's going to do next. And you know what? Sometimes go ahead and take that sucky job. Actually, I'll back up for a minute. I encourage all of you, especially if you don't have kids and you don't have a significant other, take the shitty job where you travel a lot, but learn a ton.
So that means, can I come work for you?
What's that?
I said, can I come work for you?
Yeah, this job is amazing.
You would hate this job as your first job because you're not getting to work on the assembly line, you're not getting to travel, you're not getting to work 24 hours a day. We would treat you really well. We would train you really well. You would do really cool work and make lots of money. You don't want that for your first job. You want to get your ass kicked, right? You don't want it easy coming out of the gate. You want to go, get some scars and get some experience and learn what not to do and make connections with people, right? Because again, that's all getting you back to where you want to get as your goal. I got you guys nodding and rocking back and forth in your chair, so I guess I'm making somewhat of an impact.
Give me the follow-up questions, because I know there's some here.
I do. Sorry, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
I'm on a job site right now, so sorry if it's a little loud.
Good.
But this is kind of when you're talking about, the next thing and all that. So if you eventually want to start your own business, what do you think is a good time to pretty much, because I know I want to get a job after college working for somebody else so I can learn more about business, more about the working world, get some more connections and stuff like that. But I also don't want to get too comfortable working for somebody else so that I wouldn't want to start my own business, if that makes sense. What do you think is the line there? Like, how long do you think you should work for somebody else versus when do you take the leap and just go out on your own?
This is an absolutely phenomenal question, and every single person you talk to is going to have a different opinion, okay? And I've been on all sides of this. I've been in the big company. I've been in the small company. I've helped build divisions in companies, and I've owned my own. I also grew up in my dad's own business after he worked in corporate. So I've literally seen every side of this. The opportunity right now for you guys is not to go start your own shit. You would be stupid to start your own company right now.
Okay.
Too late for me, man. But,
Well,
Sam owns his own.
Let me tell you why.
Let me tell you why. You have no experience, you're not good at it, and you don't have the connections versus the opportunity that's in front of you. I don't think you guys understand how many boomer businesses have no succession plan, where you literally could come in and take over the entire place. Friend of mine just took over a dental office. You know what she paid the guy? Nothing.
Well, time out. What is nothing?
She took it over because no one else wanted it, and he didn't want his customers to not have a dentist anymore. He had made enough money. He was happy. He really liked her and appreciated her eagerness to get started, and she just saved herself 20 years of building up a client base because she went and found the opportunity, made it important, talked to him and showed him how she would succeed him and take care of his customers, and now she's off and running. Well, if she went with your mentality of, I've got to start my own business, she just tried to start a dental office and it'd have been a pain in the ass. What I'm getting at is there's so many other opportunities right now to partner with people and go show up, because there's a lot of boomers who don't have a succession plan. And then there's a ton of us Gen Xers that are waiting on somebody to step up and actually do something. See, we're the two generations that are stupid. We worked really hard and we're really good and we're really smart, but we think everybody's going to be like us and come take it from you. Like my generation, I'm going to crush your soul. I'm going to take all your shit, and I'm going to be better than you, and I'm going to have way more money and more success than you, and then I'm going to tell you about it. And the only people I'm really going to respect are people that come in and take the shit from me and tell me the same thing, right? And that's a problem, because now we have a millennial, Gen Y, Gen Z generation that wants us to bring it to them, that wants to know it's going to work before they'll get started. They want to see the like before they'll get going. Right? And so there's this massive generational divide in our country. You got the people with all the opportunity and the skill and the know-how that are sitting there with their arms folded, waiting on the generation with the talent and the ability and the ingenuity and the way to work together, who are waiting on somebody to give them an opportunity. And we don't get them talking to each other. So what I'm getting at is right now for you guys, the opportunity is to go out and find those. The opportunity is to go out there and try to buy dude's business. The opportunity is to go out and go, hey, I'll come in and I'll be so fucking good for the next 2 years that you're going to turn this place over to me and I'm going to run it and make us both a bunch of money. And no one's going to say no to that.
Yeah, I really like what you're saying with that. I think that's super valuable. I've been in construction since I was like 14. I see that all the time as these old guys that are starting to age out, and I actually did probably do what you'd call a stupid thing. I'm just running something part-time and full-time in the summer. It's just a little residential construction company right now. But that was kind of one of the things I was thinking about after college, is going and working for somebody there. When it comes to going out and trying to find these people like you're talking about that maybe don't have any succession or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, what do you think is A, how do we find them? And B, when it comes to company size, what sort of company size are you looking for? Because obviously, I wouldn't go work for, Lennar Home Builders or, whatever, because it's a massive corporation. But you probably don't want to go work for the guy that's got, 2 employees or something like that. What would you say is about?
It kind of depends on industry. Home building will be different than engineering, it'll be different than manufacturing, right? To me, if I'm in technology or engineering or something like that, I'm looking for the company that is not a startup and is not a corporation. It's kind of in between. Maybe they've already gotten their Series A or Series B funding. They've got a great idea, they got a great market, but they don't have enough people. And you can find those companies doing the old LinkedIn search and seeing that like the engineering manager is like 29. All right, that tells me that all they got's a bunch of kids in there that don't know what the hell they're doing. And then you look and see maybe they just got a huge investment from a private equity firm. So now they got money. So they got money, opportunity, great product, and no people. That's amazing right there, right? You're on the phone and talking to all of them. You're connecting with everybody. You're showing up and working 2 weeks for free, right? Because you want to get on that explosive part of the curve. You don't have to build it from scratch. And that's why I wouldn't start my own company nowadays. And you don't want to be so far out there that all the fun shit's already done, right? Like I worked at Lockheed. Okay, Lockheed does cool stuff. I didn't. Like I worked on this bolt with the bolt worksheet. I didn't get to think. I just filled in numbers and did what I was told, right? You don't want to be on that end. And you also don't want to be on the no one knows how to do anything end, right? You don't want to be the guy that has to pick up the mail and do the shipping and do all the engineering, right? You want to be in that explosive curve. So that's kind of what you're looking for, is you're looking for those companies that are about to make that move. Now, we'll back up for a minute. If making a bunch of money is your thing, there's a lot of opportunity in really boring stuff. Maybe that home building company needs an engineer to show them how to do process and make a bunch of money, right? Sell car batteries, right? Sell seeds, right? You don't have to be in a fancy business to make a bunch of money. My kids sold soap on Amazon for years. They made hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? How complicated is soap? It's not, right? How hard is it to send a box to Amazon? It's not. It kind of depends on your why again. If you want to build a business, make a bunch of money, look for those opportunities. They're out there. There's boomers that want your help. You can do the old bizbuysell.com and just look around for businesses that are for sale and then show up and say, hey, what do you want to do with this place? Okay, what's the opportunity here? I'll tell you 2 guys that have come to me over the last couple of years. One in particular, he came in, he had worked as an intern for me a long time ago, and he comes in and he goes, all right, I'm ready. He goes, I want to run my own company and I want to do it within the next 2 to 3 years, but I want you to help me do that. And I'm going to help your company be so amazing that you're going to give me that chance. And I'm like, that sounds perfect, right? Because I'm looking for people and there's probably 3 or 4 companies in here we could create for my current company. So that's what we've done. And now he's running the marketing division of this company and we'll probably spin it off into its own company within the next year, right? But what he did first is he came in and said, I'm going to absolutely crush it for you. I'm going to grow your business. And we've literally doubled since he's been here. He's fulfilled everything he said he was going to do, and now I'll fulfill everything I said I was going to do. I had another young kid come to me and go, I want to run my own company one day. I said, well, the easiest way to do that is to teach you how to run this company. And so right now he's working his way from comptroller up to CFO within the next year or so of this company. And he's absolutely crushing it. And he's starting a business services division. And these are all opportunities they just came and asked, right? Look for someone like me who's looking for help, who's talking, who's speaking, who's saying what, these cool things that are going to help you, right? You want someone that's there to invest in you and help you grow and achieve what you want to achieve, right? And if they're helping you do that, then you just sit down and go, okay, what's the opportunity where I can make you more money and then we both grow together?
So I do get a question kind of spinning off that then. So if you're not starting your own business, you're coming and finding something, taking it over and sort of, going from there. I feel like you need to make your own mistakes and learn your own lessons before you can bring expertise to a business to grow it. So where do you draw the line between, like, how are you supposed to learn without falling on your face over and over again to go make a business great?
Silas, that's another great advantage to doing it with someone else. Because if you start your own company, cash is all that matters in the beginning of a company. It's cash flow, then profit, then growth, in that order, and it can be no other order. If you don't have cash, you're out of business. So you'll do whatever it takes to make that happen, right? So a mistake could literally bankrupt you. What if I'm in a bigger company, like the guy I'm talking about now? He can make a mistake in his division, and the overall company can cover for it. If he loses 20K, he's not out of business because we got a big chunk of money in the bank and we can cover for him. If he loses 20K every month for 3 or 4 months, we'll just shut his fucking division down, but at least he had a chance, right? That's another feather in the cap of going and working an opportunity with somebody else because you can make those mistakes. I'll say it in a simpler manner. When I was a co-op, I shut an entire manufacturing plant down one day. I totally hosed my titrations on the plating shop tanks and told them to put thousands of dollars of chemicals in that completely gummed up the operation, shut the plant down, and 250 people went home for the day. And it was funny because I was a co-op. Now, had I done that as an engineering staff, I'd have had my shit in a box and been outside and fired, right? So again, opportunity, work with another businessman. A, he's already made that mistake and he can keep you from doing it, Silas, right? B, if he's like me, he's going to create controlled crashes for you where you do fail a lot, but you can survive them. And then C, it's just a bigger opportunity. There's more chance to cover for you when you do make that mistake, right? You see a lot of early companies die because of one single stupid decision. The problem is, especially when you're a new business owner, you're going to make hundreds of stupid decisions. So if you can do that, working with somebody that's got the money, the fortitude, the prior experience, and all those kind of things, why wouldn't you do that? You'd be crazy not to, right?
So I've got a question kind of going off of something you said earlier, kind of about just the people that aren't driven. So I've already accepted a full-time position that I'll start in January. And I've interned with this company for 2 summers. I did one job or one internship with their application engineers, or that's what they call them. They're just creating process flow diagrams for different jobs. And so I was involved with that. And then this past summer, I was with the actual production engineers doing 3D modeling for them.
Is there a question in here, Joe?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of giving some background. I'm sorry. A lot of the people at the engineering portion, they're not driven. Like a lot of them are very small town oriented. They're very just stuck in their lifestyle, not really wanting to push the boundary or not really motivated.
Why do they need to be? Let me ask you that question.
Well, how else do you get development in a company? How else do you get like a new product in a company? How else do you get a new product line? Because a lot of these people, they're stuck in, they're just robots. They go in, they do the same thing.
Well, I mean, one day you're going to run a company where you want robots running the line, right? People are needed in every role. If everybody was a driven entrepreneur, this world would suck ass. Because we'd get nothing done. Everything would be a risk. You'd see buildings burning down 24 hours a day. God knows what your hamburger will look like when you went through the line, right? You need process, procedure, and boring to make the world go around. And then you need hard-charging, badass A players to change the world. Not everybody's going to be like you or driven. And I hope you understand that that's okay. Not everyone's comfortable selling or talking to people. Okay, well, partner it with somebody that is. If you're driven but not skilled, partner it with someone that's really skilled but not driven, right? Do your DISC profile tests. D's and C's are the perfect combination. They hate each other, but once they learn to communicate and talk to one another, they're unstoppable. Because you have the conscientious, hardworking, detail-oriented person with the visionary salesman, talks constantly and gets things done, right? Oh my God, that's an amazing combo. I would never discount other people. And let me go into that for a minute, Joe. You can learn something from everyone. I mean, even Max could teach me something.
Right? He might teach me that he's a dumbass and we shouldn't listen to Max anymore. But
I can learn something from everyone, and I hope you take that tact, right? Just because they're not up to your standards. Well, here's the thing, okay? And let's say it this way. If I judged an 8-year-old kid by my framework, are they going to succeed or fail? Okay, I need to judge them by their framework and help them improve their framework. So you should judge these people. If you say they're not driven, well, why should they be? Maybe they're not that type of person, or maybe they've created the life they want. Some people are comfortable. Some people talk about wanting more but don't really want it because they're not going to do it. And that's okay because we're going to have different people in the world. Now, if you're looking to be inspired every day when you come in, I wouldn't take a job for a leader that's boring as shit and not inspiring. So if there's something that motivates you, like let's say you need someone yelling at you, well, then you need to work for a boss that yells at you. If you need someone that trusts you fully and lets you make mistakes, you need to work for someone that is of that persona. And you need to be clear with them when they come in, right? One of the things I ask people when they first come in is, how do I need to yell at you to get shit done? Oh, well, I don't like being yelled at. I like being challenged. Okay, cool. I will challenge you. And you know what? I'm going to try it. And if I do it wrong, you tell me. And then over time, I've got one engineer that we will never in any chat form whatsoever tell him anything positive he's ever done, because he's very clear to us that actually makes me sick to my stomach. I want to hear how I can improve. So like at the end of our team calls, I'll be like, hey, great job, Tanya, on such and such. Great job, Jamie. Really proud of you for doing such and such. Mike, fucking A, can you work harder? Can you get some shit done? Like, why didn't you get 4 projects out instead of 3? And he just smiles because that's what he wants, right? So that's going to be very important for whatever position you take. Most people quit their job because of their immediate boss. And most people, once they have a really good boss, will follow them through the end of the earth. I've got guys now that worked for me back in the day. I could call them and be like, I'm starting a fucking snow cone stand. And they're on the way, dude. Like, let's do it. It's going to be great. I'm having lunch with one tomorrow. He's looking to start his own business. He worked for me for a long time. He wants to have lunch. I'm going to see if he wants to come build that business within this business. We'll see what happens. He knows that I have his best interests at heart, and I want to see him grow.
So, like, kind of building off of that, like, I found myself in the position where I didn't have any other offers, and I was coming to the end of my college.
Which means you had no choice, right?
Yes.
If you have one choice, you have no choice. If you have 2, you have a dilemma. So you need 3 or more choices to be able to make a choice, right? Here's the thing. You're not, well, are you? What was your dilemma?
Not a dilemma. I was shit out of options, or shit out of luck.
And why was that? Let's back up and dig into this for a minute. Because you were lazy.
Yeah, I fucked around.
You knew you had a safe route.
So you relaxed and you didn't work very hard because you knew you could fall back to that, right? That makes sense what I'm saying?
Yep, makes sense. But kind of what happened, I kind of kicked my ass into gear junior and senior year, and I started building those good, like, building better habits and getting, my mind in the right place.
And here's the thing.
You're not stuck, Joe, because if you get off your ass, you could have 4 more offers before the end of the year, and then you could actually make a choice. Oh, well, I already accepted that offer. Well, if you went into them and they actually gave a shit about you and you showed them, hey, I found something else that's better for me. I am going to find someone to help replace me in this spot. I know I'm putting you in a bad position. I found something else that's better for me. Let me make it right on your side. They're going to understand that. At least you were straight with them. You didn't just disappear and ghost them. On the flip side of that, this company, if they decided next week they didn't need your division anymore, would they keep you employed?
Probably not.
You don't really owe each other anything, but you should work hard to make each other better. Hopefully that one gets out there and gets some views, right? Because you don't owe them anything, but you do want to make them better. And if we all take that approach to everything we do, how much better is the world going to be? Now, to come back to what we were saying a minute ago, this is out of Atomic Habits. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. You had no system. You hadn't heard me talk about how to get your job and how to get 4 or 5 job offers and how to work every single day going to interviews and how to make connections, right? Your system let you down. Didn't matter what your goals were. You rose to the level of your system, which was shit. So now you have the one job that you automatically already had. And so you got your safe spot. So now your decision is, okay, well, do I just make that an excuse? Oh, I already took a job, can't look for another one. Or do you get back on the horse and get to work? If that job is not fulfilling you for what you need to do next and it's just your safety, then you need to do more. They deserve more. They deserve someone that wants that job and makes the most of it. Don't take up a spot for somebody just because it's you're safe and you're lazy and you don't want to go work and do what you really need to do to achieve what you want to achieve. You got me? Salas is way back in the chair. He should have more questions.
Stay back in the chair. I guess so. I don't know. Coming out of college, I guess there's a lot of jobs. I'm starting to realize, and I'm sure everyone's probably in the same location. Kind of coming through college, sophomore, junior, senior year. I was like, I got it all figured out. I'll go back to this place. I'll work this job. I'll be fine. Just do this thing, and then step by step. And I think in the last year, coming to the end of college and coming to the end of my internship experience and everything, I started to realize how little I know and how little I have no idea what I want to do and such. And so I guess sort of when you're in that position now, I feel like I'm standing back and looking at like 1,000-mile view. Like, do you have any advice on sort of a systematic approach to find kind of where you're supposed to be? Do I look at, well, what location do I want to be in and then find jobs there? Do I look in industries or do I look in, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, let's go anyway. And any way works, I'm sure. But I don't know if you've got anything to say on
I like the question, Solace, and I'll run with it for a second. You steer me back if I'm going off course here. The very first thing that we need you to do is go find someone that's in that position that you were in 2 years ago and fucking talk to them. Pass this experience back. If someone had come to you 2 years ago and said, Solace, this is what's going to go down the next 2 years, and here's the mistake you're going to make, don't be me, that probably would have had some impact. If you'd have got Joe 2 years ago and go, dude, don't just settle for that one gig, like get 5 or 6 job offers and make sure that's what you want to do, that would probably have some impact. So right now, the first thing I need you to do is break the chain, right? Break the chain and go back and help the person that's coming behind you. That's how we make the world a better place.
That's sweet and all, but how does that help you at all? Besides giving yourself a little pat on the back, how does that affect you and your future endeavors?
If someone that wasn't as self-absorbed as you had done this for you 4 years ago, where would you be?
Touche.
Right?
I think I've seen this so I'm a sophomore, and I've talked to Silas for a long time about school and just stuff like that. And I've kind of seen that because, his sophomore year, he was starting to look at internships, but he wasn't really sure exactly what to do. And he's been on my ass about making connections since my freshman year. Yep. And I think that's really helped me in a lot of ways, because now I'm going from a nothing school to I'll start in January at UGA. And all of that, like a lot of my life has changed because he's just like, you don't have that time. Because I was like, I'll just make money this year or whatever. And he's like, you don't. You have 3 years till you graduate. You need to be grinding out.
Goes by very quickly in the context of your life. Now, here's the important thing, Caleb. Are there 2 people that you're doing that for? Don't break that chain. Break the chain of bullshit before you, but rebuild a better one. And more of them, right? Pass it on to more people. Hey, I had someone help me, so I'm going to help the next person coming down. Once you get to the top, send the elevator back down, right? Now back to what you were saying a minute ago, Solace. I mean, how do you know? Well, how do you know what you like to eat?
Well, you try things.
Yeah.
Right. And I get
and
that.
if you like it, you go back and you're like, well, was it a one-time thing or do I really like tacos? Right.
Yeah, but can you really do that with a job? Like, I can go to Taco Bell and see if I like it or not. Well, I can't just jump around jobs. I mean,
why not?
I just feel like that's not a good way to start my career. I feel like it doesn't look good to other employers.
In the day right before my day, so when I was in your chair, actually, I'll say 3 or 4 years before me, because my generation, there's none of us, and we all had 12, 13, 14 job offers because there weren't any of us. And when I turned all those jobs down and went to grad school, and when I got out a year and a half later, they offered all those same jobs plus another 10 jobs, right? Because there weren't any of us. All right, so kind of relevant. But before me, if you didn't stay at a job 2 years, you were a job hopper and no one would ever hire you. They checked everything. Show up with your degree. Give me 27 references. All that bullshit, right? None of that happens anymore. Nobody cares. I have no idea if my guys actually have a degree or not. We'll find out when they go to get their PE and they have to show it, right? I just look, can they do shit? Can they do things? Can they accomplish stuff? The other part is we're in a different society nowadays. There are so fewer workers and there's so many more jobs. So for you guys, if you came to me in an interview and I'm like, first question would be, what happened at X? Like, you only been there 3 months. What the fuck are you quitting for, right? That's the actual question, but I'm going to ask it, hey, what happened at X? And if you were like, I got in there and I didn't feel like I was providing value, I didn't feel like there was a future for me, and I'm not going to be that sheep sitting at a job just collecting money, providing no value. I'm looking for somewhere where I can make an impact, and I've targeted your company because of what you said on YouTube about such and such, and I'm going to come in here and make you a shit ton of money. Do you think I give a shit that you quit your job 3 months ago? Probably not.
But in the back of your head, is there not a fear that they do the same thing with you and move past you in another 3 months? Because they felt like they weren't adding value?
You need to come in. So, a couple of tacks we can take on this, Max. There used to be a question that went around like, hey, what's your plan for this job? And I would always say, I'm coming to take your fucking job. And most of my bosses really like that, because remember, that was a generational thing. Like, they wanted to see dudes coming in taking over, right? Nowadays, everybody'd be uncomfortable, and you'd have to hold the pink elephant meeting and all that kind of stuff. Where was I heading with this? What was our topic, Max? Sorry. The pink elephant made me laugh. That just made a life story about that.
Well, we were just talking about how would it make you feel if they wanted to move on past 3 months?
Okay, yeah. You want to be so good that they can move on. You want to be so good that they never need you again. You want to be so impactful and so important that you ascend to the next level, right? You want to do your job so well and create the system for the next person that's going to do your job that it's a no-brainer to move you to the next spot, right? I wouldn't worry about any of that. The only thing you could control in your employment situation is how well you do your job and how much value you provide. And here's the thing. Sometimes you're going to get screwed. You're going to bust your ass and do everything you ever could, miss kids' birthdays, work overtime, not get paid, all that, and then they're going to fire you like a dog in the street. And that's okay. Because if you go back to the beginning of this conversation, if you spent time making sure you got value out of the place, that you got the thing you needed to achieve your end goal, then it was a fair trade, right? Don't be upset. That's business. Because one day, especially if you run your own business, you're going to have to let somebody go. One day, you're going to run out of money. It's happened to me. My business collapsed twice. Probably should have gone completely out of business. I built from 0 to 12 people and then literally had to let everybody go because we were out of money because I was stupid, right? It happens. That's business. It would be worse in some cases for that business to keep you and having to fire everyone next year instead of cutting 10% of you now. You've got to understand that it's business. And if you were so good, they wouldn't let you go. And you're like, wait, but they got rid of my whole division. Okay, well, obviously your division wasn't very good. Or maybe it didn't fit their business profile anymore. Or maybe now that's an opportunity that you can go start a business in its place. That happened with a good friend of mine. He went into a company and helped build them from about 50 million to 250 million. And then they brought in huge investors. Series A, B, C, all that kind of stuff, right? Private equity. Private equity came in and turned it into a profit machine and turned it into a shit show. Okay? They worked them like dogs, right? He gave everything he had, and they dangled the stock options to make him jump like a little dancing monkey, right? And finally, I talked him into, dude, you've got to get out of there because your wife doesn't know who you are and your kid doesn't know who you are. And I put your kid on the bus every morning, and you're home 30 days a year. It's killing you. And finally, he decided, you know what? I got to get out of here. I'm going to quit, even though I'm giving up a bunch of money, right? Interestingly, his best buddy the next day dropped dead from the stress. He now has waited out his non-compete, and he's starting a new company and doing it the right way. He's going to rebuild that entire original company, but now without private equity, now with a better culture. He's going to take every customer that he ever used to have. He'll have a $300 million company within the next 2 years because he's going to come back and do it right. And what I'm getting at with all of this is there's value in everything that you do. There's value in these companies. There's things that you can find. And you need to not worry about, oh, well, wouldn't they just let me go? That might be a great opportunity. I actually started my business when I got laid off. I was moonlighting, and I had just obtained this massive project. And I didn't have any employees, and I didn't have time to finish the project. And I went into work that day, and I got called into the conference room. There was an HR guy and my boss who wouldn't look at me. And I sat down, and they laid me off, and they gave me a 5-month severance, meaning I got paid 5 months for doing nothing, right? So people in this company, they laid off 100 and something people. Dudes that had worked there 35 years, given their whole life to the place. They're walking out crying like dogs. I'm high-fiving everybody I see. Hell yeah, baby. About to go start my company, baby. Yeah. And actually, I ended up hiring the guy I'm having lunch with tomorrow. I hired him from my old company, and he was my first employee, and off we went. That was 2006, and we've been kicking ass ever since. So some people look at that and go, well, they just fired you like a dog in the street. No, that was my first opportunity to get my business going. It was awesome. And it's back to how you frame everything in life, Max, right? It's how you look at stuff. You know, like a minute ago when you were saying, hey, I need to be well-rounded. I agree with what you're saying, but in the context you were using it, I don't like you using it as an excuse to not work hard. And making sure we put the correct frame on it.
Senioritis is definitely did me dirty.
I mean, my senior year, I had worked, 24 hours a day for my dad's construction company since I was like 9 years old until my senior year. And then suddenly I was busy every afternoon because I wanted to go hang out and play basketball and drink beer and hang out with my buddies, right? Yeah, no, I get it. The thing is I had planned for that. I had already set up where I was going to college. I already had a bunch of money. I'd already bought a bunch of the things I wanted because I had seen my buddies do it the years before me. I knew I was going to be a lazy fuck my senior year and do whatever I wanted to do and party. So I set up everything beforehand. So same thing, you guys could now go back and talk to guys like Caleb, freshmen and sophomores, and be like, hey, here's what's going to happen, dude. And then you're going to get in that last semester and you're going to want to do nothing. So you're going to want to have that job set before then, right? That way you can be comfortable. That way your season can be, I'm going to chill for a minute before I get my career started.
But what if during that time period you realize that job you had set up, that you actually don't like it after the couple of years that you've matured in that final stages, and you're like, maybe actually I don't want to be in this position, and I just was kind of young and naive and set it up prematurely, and now here I am.
Now you get back to work and you find a better gig, right? And in the meantime, so let's say you need that job for survival. And a lot of people out there, let's say they've been out 3-4 years, maybe they got married and they were stupid, bought a house, bought a car, and did all the stupid things that people tell you to do, right? So now they have to work there, but they hate the job. Well, here's the thing. Now's the time to be better than you've ever been at that job. Now's the time to be so good they start promoting you and giving you raises right before you fucking quit. Because you want to take that momentum into your next job and your next chapter of your career. Do not allow yourself to get weak and lazy just because you don't like the job, because that will affect you in the next chapter of your life. Anytime you're about to climb the next hill, you want a little momentum when you get to the bottom of it, right? You don't want to come from a dead stop or even worse, further back, right? Because you were lazy in your job because you didn't like it anymore. In reality, some experienced business owners like myself, if we see a guy suddenly perk back up, it's probably because he's looking for a job. If he's been a lazy fuck for the last year and hasn't really done what he's supposed to do, but maybe he hit his minimums and then suddenly he got better, I'll go have lunch with that guy. Hey, what's up? Like, what is it we're not providing you, right?
You're doing well.
Yeah, but there's a change, and there's points in your life, inflection points, where you make a change, right? For me, it was when I was working at Lockheed and realized how horrific it was, right? I had carried a pocket knife from the age of 5 years old until the day at Lockheed that I was looking up how to cut my wrist because I was done with that job. I was done with Atlanta. I didn't really want to live anymore. And I went to bed like 3-4 o'clock in the morning and got up at 5 to go to work. And it hit me that morning, I got to make a change in my life. So I went and I got a sports car. I got a haircut. I signed up for judo. I took flying lessons. Like, I literally changed everything in my life, where I went to eat, who I hung out with. And I started looking for another job. And I knew that was the inflection point that I needed to do something different in my life. And you're going to have a lot of those, right? But here's the thing. That last few months I worked at Lockheed, I got really fucking good. I finished my work and my assignment and my project and got commendations from people I still have not met, right? Didn't even know they were looking, right? Hey, this is the best stuff we've ever seen. Okay, cool. Here's my resignation. And I took that momentum into the new company and helped build their engineering department from 4 people to 12. And they went from, 300-400K a year to a couple million, right? Because I went in with momentum. I knew I needed to make a change, and I went in with momentum. So if you feel yourself stuck here, Max, if you don't like what you're going into, that's okay. Build a whole new plan to do it, but don't drop it, right? Get really good at it. Try it. Give it everything you got, because it might actually turn out to be okay. There's a really cool, and later as you guys get older in your life, there's a really cool Tony Robbins thing where this guy is talking about his marriage. Now he's going to leave his wife. And he's like, well, why? Well, she won't let me play in the band. And all I want to do is play in the band. But she wants me to work. And he's like, well, do you have kids? Yeah, we have a new baby. Well, does your wife work? No. So you're her sole provider and her dad, and she has a newborn. And you want to go out and party with your buddies and play on the band stage all night. And he's like, yeah, and she won't support that. And he's like, wow, who would have thought? Well, his question to him is, What do you think she gives you out of 10? Oh, a 7. He's like, you're fucking fooling yourself. You're probably like a 1 or a 2. Like, you're not providing for her because you don't believe in it. He goes, I'm going to challenge you. Go home and get your 10 out of 10 every day. And then they follow up with him 6 months later. He's playing on stage in his band, and her and the kid are there supporting it. And their marriage has never been better because he actually put himself back into it and did his part. And I think that's one of the biggest problems in life right now is everyone sits around with their arms folded, waiting on the other person or the other job or the other thing to change when they're the thing that needs to change. They're the one that needs to put everything into it and make sure that that's not the opportunity they wanted. So you took the job originally for a reason. And even Joe, hey, I really thought this was a great opportunity. Now he should go in there and give it everything he's got and see if it is the best opportunity ever. Because he might be missing something. Maybe he thinks the job is boring. Well, he could choose to make it not boring, right? Maybe he comes in and talks to his boss and goes, you know what? This is the most boring job ever, but I'm going to be the best you've ever had. And I'm going to help you make it not boring for the next guy. And then you're going to help me move over there. And what's his boss going to say? Fuck yeah, let's do it.
Hopefully. We'll see.
You never know.
All right, I'll give you guys one more question. I got another meeting to go to.
Caleb, you got anything? Sam?
Not really. I mean, this has been incredibly helpful, but this is all new still, so I don't have super specific stuff yet.
Well, your sophomore, important thing for you right now is to get some job experience in what it is you think you want to do to make sure that's what you want to do. Because you see a lot of people that get a degree and they start their job and they're like, this fucking sucks. I don't want to be an accountant. And then they're stuck, right? They're not really stuck if they listen to me. They can just start over. You can always go back to an inflection point in your life and try a different course. I know people don't believe that. They play the sunk cost fallacy. Oh, I've already put 2 years in this relationship. Well, okay, that's cool. Give it all you got. But if it's not the right thing, you can go back and start over. That's okay.
Yeah, thank you. That's very helpful.
For now, just get a couple of jobs doing what it is you want to do, even if they're volunteer, even if you got to sweep the floor for 2 weeks to get the opportunity. Just get in there and do shit that you think it is you want to do. And then, my other call's chasing me. I'll get him in a minute. All right, what else?
You pretty much answered everything.
Well, I appreciate this greatly. You guys get one more together before the end of the year if you want. Now that we've kind of got a context and got some of the initial stuff out of the way. That way you guys can come back with a little bit more particular of questions and Sam can be not out by the side of the road somewhere.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
Max cannot be in like a museum lobby or wherever the hell he is. Caleb could actually get a camera. All this kind of thing.
Now, y'all set it up again and bring a few more people and send me questions beforehand if you want to. I mean, you guys are the future. You've got massive opportunity in front of you, and you need a voice of someone that's there for you and has seen it and done it and all those kind of things and is not trying to like live through you or make you live the life they wanted like your parents or your grandparents are going to try to do, right? Because I want you guys to make an impact and do important things. My directive is right here on the wall. I create people who create people. That's what I do every day. So this is an opportunity for me to give you guys a chance to go help the next person. So Caleb, if you're not handing it down, shame on you, right? You're selfish, right? All right, you guys are beautiful.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your time, sir.
You have a good
Thanks,
one.
Sam.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we go.
All right, y'all be good. See ya.